Welcome to the Dashboard Overview, your agency's dream management features. In this video, you should learn most of everything you would need to know from an overview level about what the dashboard has to offer you, how to use it, how to utilize it for your clients, and how to set it up. In the Services module, this is where you will go to find the services, view the details and features of the services, the comparison chart, and of course, this is where you would go to purchase services. In just a couple clicks of the mouse, you would be able to select the service that you want to purchase and launch it all from the Services module. Once you log into the dashboard from your overview, you would simply click on Start New Project, and it's going to take you to all of the services. So this is your services overview page. This is where you would go if you're wanting to view view the costs on the services, view the features on the services, launch the services, pay for the services. Anything services related, you're going to click on Start New Project. So first of all, in order to view what the services are, you're going to click on whatever service category you want to look at, and it's going to open up that service category. Now, no matter what service category you click on from the overview, you can easily navigate to the other service categories inside of here with this top navigation. So I'll start with SEO. If you click on Download and Compare All Plans, it's going to take you to the document that compares all of the services inside of Agency Platform. From here, you'll be able to see your wholesale pricing, recommended retail pricing, and the deliverables. So for deliverables, you'll be able to compare from the lower level plan to the higher level plan and what the costs associated with each of them are. Now, do take note that even though you would have navigated to the view service details from search engine optimization, it will show you all of the different services on the breakdown plan. So you don't have to go through to each services and click through, show me the details on each. It's all outlined in one overview document. Of course, this document is for you and your agency. This is not something that you would send to your clients because there's wholesale and retail pricing on it. For sales related materials that you can deliver to your clients, we'll cover that a bit later on in the sales stuff. When you're ready to launch a service or a project, you would then come in and choose the corresponding service that you want to launch as a project. And to do that, you would add it to the cart. So you can add one project to the cart or multiple projects to the cart at the same time. Once it's added to the cart, you'll just enter in the client's URL or the URL of the project you're launching, and you would choose the associated time frame, which is the duration of the campaign. So would you want to run the campaign 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and then choose if you want add-ons. If there's add-ons that are available for a particular service, they will be displayed here, and that's how you add them on. Once you click Proceed to Checkout, it's going to take you to the payment page where you'll enter in the payment information, click Make Payment, and this will launch the project. Once paid, you will see the project populate from the overview where you can dive into the project, look at the project dashboard and analytics, and follow the project tasks and pending issues. Up next, let's talk about sales and pre-sales materials. The platform has the ability for you to have a widget placed on your website to automatically run SEO audit reports, social media audit reports, and Ppc audit reports. 100% automated without you having to do anything. In order to look at the audit reports, you'll come into your dashboard and go to the pre-sale area and navigate to the audit reports, and you'll see the SEO, Ppc, and the social media audit reports. For now, let's dive into the SEO audit reports. You'd come into here, and this is where you can view 2 sample audit reports. And I have opened one of them. Now, the objective of running an audit report for someone who is on your website or has called in as a lead and you want to show them that you can audit their website presence in SEO or social media or Ppc to let them know what needs to be done, what's good, what's wrong, how do you stand up next to your competition, and it's a sales closing tool, really. It should help to convert your lead, as establishing trust through intelligence is one of the top strategies for consultative sales. Following accordingly, the SEO audit report allows you to score the website. So your lead probably doesn't know a lot about on-page or keyword rankings or off-page optimization, but they will understand a score of 63 out of 100, and that's bad. That's a score of a D. So what's their score for ranking in Google? They are a D. Furthermore, the report breaks down their issues for high priority, medium priority, and low priority issues, and then dives into the on-page optimization. Now, on a technical breakdown for the client, you're probably not going to want to dive into this, but just having this information is good. If the lead were to come to your website and automatically have this report ran for them and it arrives in their inbox, it's not a bad thing if there's portions of the report that they do not understand. And why? Well, because that's why they need to call you and get an explanation and figure out how you can fix their problems. One of the things I love about this report is that it interprets the results of even the on-page down to this is bad or this is good by saying, great, your site's load time is 2.25 seconds. So it's going to tell you if it's good or if it's bad. It's not just a report giving data. Report lets you know how many pages are found in Google, if they have a security, an SSL on their website, if their site is mobile friendly, how their website looks on a mobile, and their keyword rankings. Of course, one of the best ways to convince a client to purchase an SEO campaign is simply showing them the keywords they should be ranking for, the search volume behind those keywords, and where they are not ranking. For example, this keyword has 8,000 monthly searches and you're not ranking on the top page of Google. That's a big problem. PPC overview, as well as a really nice graph suggesting how much they should be spending on PPC, whether it be in remarketing or retargeting, search, or the display network. I really like how the report pulls out that there are X amount of ads from the competitors competing in pay-per-click marketing, and even extracts out what those exact ads are. Now, yes, this is an SEO audit report, but it doesn't hurt to utilize the report to cross-sell into PPC as well, or to let them know, hey, if you don't want to pay for that traffic, we can try to get that amount of paid traffic organically or free traffic through SEO. There's a nice section on website security, and if you're going to embed the form to this on your site, one of the things that you would want to advertise is not only will we run a free SEO audit check for you, but how about getting a free security check done on your site? And this part breaks it down whether or not their blacklisted viruses have been found, backdoors, malware, worms, spyware, you name it. Up next is a breakdown of the competitive or the off-page analysis on their campaign. Chances are none of your clients are going to understand this. But again, establishing trust through intelligence is very powerful. And this data is coming from the top two off-page data providers that you're going to find out there, Moz and Ahrefs. Even though your client or your lead, and maybe even you, might not fully understand how to interpret the off-page optimization analysis, what the report does do that is very nice is it gives you an easy to understand score of 10 out of 15. So most can at least understand that. How well is your off-page rated? And if that's not enough, the SEO Audit Report also includes a social engagement rating, breaking down their Google+, Twitter, and Facebook analysis to figure out what good is their social media engagement score. So if you're wanting to cross-sell them into a social media campaign off of your SEO Audit Report, that would be great. And in some of the SEO, especially SEO local campaigns, social media is included, which is why it would make sense to show a social engagement score on the SEO audit. And why does why does social media have anything to do with SEO? Well, the report also tells that to your clients right there, how social signals have come a long way with their impact in SEO. And is it a ranking factor? Yes, it is a ranking factor. And then competitor metrics. Domain authority and page authority is a good way to globally look at competitor sites versus yours and stack up and see how they stack up to the competition and their rankability within Google. And that's done through domain authority and looking at it on a page authority basis. And this portion breaks it down on a competitive analysis. So that's the SEO Audit Report. And to get this on your website, you would just come in and click Get Widget Code. And what you want to do is you want to take this widget code, and if you have a designer, you probably want to give it to your designer. You can design up the form. To give you an example of what the widget code is, I just opened it up in an HTML previewer, and this is the data that it's going to be collecting on your site. So you can take this and you can give it to a designer. You can design the form on your website. You can stick it on any landing page that you want. I would definitely recommend having an SEO free audit report landing page that would include something along the lines of get a free consultation from us with a report worth X amount of money right here. And you could even code it into where whenever they submit to request this audit report, it could also email you and schedule a meeting with you if you wanted to code that in. For now, you're going to see whenever someone requested an audit from you, it will come into here and you will see that it requested an audit from you, and you'll receive an email at the same time. So that's a fantastic sales tool. It's something you would really want to highlight on your website, and it is a fantastic report. So if you wanted to run a report without the widget code, without going through your website widget code, you could simply click Create New Report here and manually create a report to download and send to your client. Similarly with paper, or let's go with social media audit reports. If you click on Create New Social Media Audit Report here, it's going to create you an audit report for a client. Now, the social media audit report is new, so look for the widget capability of being able to put it on your website to be coming out in the near future. For now, you would have to come in and manually create this report for your client, which doesn't take much. You just click Create New Social Media Audit Report and fill in the client's information and their competitors' information, and click Create New SMO Audit Report, and almost instantly it's going to create the social media audit report, and you'd be able to send that over to the client. So I would still recommend highlighting this on your website as another audit report that you can run, having a landing page for a social media consultation and audit, and whenever they would fill out the form for that, you would simply then run the report for them and most likely go over it with them either in a consultation or send it to them ahead of time. But regardless, I would still highlight it on your website on a landing page for social media audit and consultation. The social media audit report primarily covers Facebook and Twitter. Not that you can't talk to the client in the consultation about other social media accounts, but the report is just covering Facebook and Twitter. Much like the SEO Audit Report, it has a nice breakdown where it's going to give them a score of 0 to 10 on the different elements of their social media on Facebook as well as Twitter. And then it's also going to detail their Facebook information and take a look at the Facebook competitors. I didn't put in all the competitors to match up the lead to, but anytime that you're going over any sort of an audit report with a client, the more competitors you can put in that report, the better, because talking to any business owner about their competition and stacking them side by side to their competition is one of the best ways to motivate them to get into marketing, especially if the competition stacked next to them has much higher ratings and data points in their marketing, so maybe they're much more active, they're more successful in their marketing, and being able to shove that in the lead's face and say, listen, your competition's really beating you up, that's really going to help you close a deal. And it should, because that would mean that your particular lead needs to work on their marketing. So this report would break down versus the competition the different Facebook data points: likes, posts, type of post, video, photo, link, status, total talking about. And then it would break down their posts. So this particular lead did not have any posts within the last month to break down, and it's not showing any results as a result of them not posting in quite some time. Twitter info, again, break down the Twitter information that they would have and compare their Twitter engagement and posting rate with the competition. As you can see here, you take this lead versus their competitors, and obviously the competitors are, oh my gosh, more than 20-fold more active on Twitter than they are. Maybe that's very successful for them. I don't know. And then it would break down their recent tweets. So it's an audit report that allows you to benchmark them versus the competition, and that's always going to be powerful in sales. And it's a good way to start a conversation and use hard data really to get that consultation with the client, go over their social media versus the competition, what are their needs, and talk to them about the related services. And last for the audit reports, but not least, the Ppc Audit Report. This audit report, there are two types, the Ppc Audit Report for active Ppc campaigns and the Ppc Initial Report. To distinguish the two, the Ppc Initial Report is the type of report you would want to run for the client to give them more of a landscape of the industry and why they should get into Ppc. And Ppc Audit Report is to analyze an existing Ppc campaign that's running. So typically you're probably going to be running the Ppc Initial Reports, and that's what we're going to go over. So if I came in and click Ppc Initial Report, select location, next, and then you would simply enter in the information. Now, much like the social media audit report, this one does not have a widget that you can put on the website, but I would look for that to be coming in the future as well. However, I would still heavily encourage you to put up a Ppc audit landing page that would come with a consultation, because that's the best type of lead generation landing page for a particular service that you're offering to run an audit for them, give them a consultation, etc. And this is the audit that would allow you to do that. So let's look at the Ppc Initial Report. This report will come in a PDF format, so you can send it over to the client. They would be able to open it on any device. And as we dive into this, it's going to give them an overview of the keywords they could go after, competitors' budget, and more. So it's really nice breaking down the top keywords. I mean, by looking at this, if you were wanting to sell this particular lead SEO as well, or only SEO, you still might want to run an initial Ppc report, because showing them how much they'd have to pay for X amount of traffic versus getting it for quote unquote free organically is certainly motivating. But also, of course, if you want to run a Ppc campaign for them, this is a fantastic report. So it's nice because it's going to automatically pull out the keywords that they should be targeting, list the competition of those keywords, and the average cost per click they can expect to pay. So it's nice to be able to try to manage expectations on what they would pay for it. And then it's an entirely different ballgame and awesome that the report pulls out the Ppc competitors, the exact competitors that they have, their ad traffic they're getting, the ad spend that they have, and the keyword count that they're targeting, which, depending on the client and their competition, this could be a very valuable portion of the report. On this one, they have a competitor spending as little as $71, another competitor spending nearly $11,000. Certainly talking points to have. And if you were wanting to run an SEO campaign as well, you can simply tell them, well, you know, you can be spending $11,000 in Ppc, or we could try our hand at SEO. And then it has the recommended monthly budget and estimated clicks. This is always a difficult question to answer for clients that are interested in Ppc. Whenever they ask you, how much money should I be spending? It's hard to level with them and let them know that. This report will answer that question for you. And then it also has a site security check that it throws in, because why not? And a Google mobile-friendly site check. Why would a Google mobile-friendly site check be within a Ppc Initial Report? Well, do you really want to drive paid traffic to a website that is not mobile-friendly? So they're going to pay for a click, and if they're on a mobile device, they're going to get to the site. It's not mobile-friendly. They're just going to bounce, and it's going to be a waste of money. So, of course, you want to run a mobile-friendly site check to make sure you're not driving traffic to a guaranteed bounce. And then it outlines the estimated project timeline, because why not go ahead and assume that they're going to run a project? Let them know what's entailed with the project, what's the timeline, and they should be contacting you to schedule a meeting if they are not within a consultation going over this with you anyways. So that's the Ppc Initial Report. With all three audit reports, this should give you the confidence and the backing to set up a landing page for each, a landing page for an SEO audit report, a social media audit report, and a Ppc audit report for people who do have an existing campaign or do not have existing Ppc running. and the ability for you to schedule consultations to go over those reports should be one of the highlights of your website, if not the biggest highlight that you would have on your retail-facing website. Your 3 audits you run and the consultations you provide with those. Okay, now that we've talked about the audit reports, let's talk about other salesy stuff. What about getting sales support on a quote for a client? You have a phone call with a lead. Maybe you ran an audit report for them and they want work done, then you're not sure what it's going to cost. Maybe you're wanting to request for a particular campaign that you're not familiar with, and you want to contact agency platform for an official quote. In order to do that, you would just come in here underneath pre-sale, go to plan recommendations, and submit a request for a new quote. Simply enter in the client's website URL, the type of service you're looking at, whether they're national, regional, or local, and estimate the number of keywords. Type in what kind of keywords you think they're going to be targeting, any additional information that you may have, information you want to use to receive the quote, feedback, and submit quote. Once the quote is submitted, you'll be able to come in and see the status of that quote and whether or not it's been responded to. So this is where you can go to get officially documented sales support. Of course, you could call in to customer support and speak with someone, but this is a way to officially submit something and have tracking on it, which is always a good thing to do. Also located in pre-sales, you can find the SEO Intake Form and the Ppc Intake Form. These particular forms can be sent to the client through a white label from the system. Now, why would they be in pre-sales? Would you send these forms to a client before you got paid or before you paid for the campaign to start? Well, the option's yours. Maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't, but regardless, they're in pre-sales. So in order to intake a client into SEO or PPC using this nice form that you can send to the client underneath the white label, you would just come into here and either fill up the form for the client or send it to the client. Most people would love to use the white label capacity to send a nice form to the client. In order to do that, you would just hit send a client and fill it out. Now, if you wanted to see what this looks like whenever it sends, you could click fill up form and you would get a similar version of what the client would be seeing, where they'd be asked to enter their business details. They'd have an SEO questionnaire, and it would also ask them for information on how to access the website. Or you can come into the demo account and look to view what does the form information contain, from business details, SEO questionnaire, and more for the SEO, and then for the PPC it has related information. So that's an easy way in pre-sales, if it is pre-sales, to send an intake form to a client underneath a white label, and when the client has returned the form, you're going to know. Next, let's navigate to the marketing library. Now, within the marketing library, if you're looking for a client intake form for an intake process, or you're looking for an intake questionnaire, or the campaign commencement forms, in case you're not wanting to use the white label built-in for the SEO and PPC intake forms, you would come into the marketing library, where you'll find a vast array of all of the questionnaires, intake forms, and commencement forms, and you can download those and use them at your will. If you're looking for presentations, there's one loaded in and more presentations coming soon to help you with consultations on clients. Newsletters are generated on a monthly basis. So if you wanted to download the monthly newsletter, load it into an email marketing platform, you may have and email it out to your clients. You can do that once a month just to keep your leads warm. There are also white papers located in the marketing library that you can use to publish to expand your brand. And to view past webinars, you would just go down to the webinars tab. So for marketing materials, including intake forms, questionnaires, and commencement forms, you would navigate to the marketing library. All in all, the pre-sales is where you're going to go to access the ability to have audit reports to help you close leads, to submit official requests for quotes and plan recommendations, to access the white labeled online SEO and PPC intake forms. Can go here to view plans and pricing, and access marketing library for all of your sales support. Find it all underneath pre-sale. Up next is project management. We're going to walk through how you would monitor project management from a global standpoint, a campaign-specific standpoint, and how you're going to handle general communication. The agency platform is built to be able to handle detailed campaign management on a per campaign basis very well, but it's also built to be able to handle a volume amount of campaigns. Whether or not you have one campaign or 100 campaigns, this system is built to handle both equivalently. And so in order to do that, it needs to have a way to give you a view on all of your projects. Of course, if you have just one project, this might not be of a whole lot of use. But once you grow your agency and let's say you have 10, 20, 30, 40 campaigns running, you must have global views to be able to keep up on all of your campaigns. So let's start with the global views that you will have that makes the platform really special. It's going to let you know from your overview page that you land on how many total active projects you're running, how many active tasks you have, the amount of completed tasks, and the amount of pending issues. The number of pending issues is probably what you're going to want to pay most attention to because those are things that you want to respond to. And then, of course, you're going to want to be able to pay attention to overdue tasks. If there are two things that you'd want to log into the dashboard and look at every single day, it's going to be the pending issues and the overdue tasks. Now, if you didn't have this global view, you'd have to go into every single project and check them one by one, which is why it's so important to have a global number of pending issues and overdue tasks. I also want to point out that from the overview page, it gives you a different view on your tasks completed, pending, overdue for a particular time range, but also it's showing you rankings across various search engines for all of your keywords on all of your projects. And this is really special because this is going to allow you to have a feel for how all of your campaigns are running that are dependent upon search engine rankings for particular keywords. So if you wanted to see a trend across all your campaigns, you're going to see it right when you log in. So let's dive in on the global view on active tasks. If you simply click on active tasks, it's going to take you into your tasks overview. And this is not for one specific project. This is a global project management admin view. So you're going to see all of the tasks for all of your campaigns. And you'd also be able to come in here and filter the tasks down by project or by activity title, by SEO, PPC, or social media, by the specific type of service, by activity, whether it's a pending issue, overdue, completed, due in 7 days or 15 days, monthly sorting, by tags as well. If you wanted to find a task for a client that you wanted to search for by a keyword, you'd use by activity title to break it down. So this is really for task management. Now, if you wanted to view just your overdue tasks, you could sort by activity inside of here, or also from your dashboard overview, you'd simply click overdue tasks. So that is your view on global tasks. If you wanted to look into pending issues more, you can go into collaboration and drop down to pending issues. This is going to break down the projects that have X amount of pending issues. This, if you have quite a few pending issues from your overview that you log into, to be able to pinpoint the campaigns that specifically need to be addressed, you would drop down and look further into pending issues to see a campaign level breakdown. For general questions, again, for general anything at a global level, if you have any general questions, you would come in to submit a general question, and this is more like you could consider it more like a support ticketing system. So that's global project management overview. Let's talk about specific project management on a particular project, and we'll click into Demo Project 2. On each project on the overview, it lets you know how many active tasks they have, overdue tasks, pending issues. Now, whenever I click to go into the particular project, it's going to open up on the left side hand navigation, everything for project management, but also everything you would ever access in regards to this particular project or campaign that is running, from reporting to analytics to project settings to collaboration. So we're just going to go over the project management based portion of the project that's running. And from the whole overview, mainly what you want to pay attention to are the pending issues at hand. The rest of the overview report is mainly campaign level and analytics reporting. So whenever you're going to look at for project management purposes, it's all going to be on the left-hand navigation inside of collaboration. That's where you're going to have your pending issues breakdown. So if you come into here, you're going to see active issues, completed issues, and all issues. So this is where you're going to want to come in and make sure that your involvement is there to respond to issues on whatever information is requested. For general project conversation, that'll be located inside of collaboration, and click on conversation. This is where a lot of the approvals will happen, and if you wanted to jump in here and ask any campaign specific questions, this is probably where you would want to go. So for example, approving title tags, meta tags, campaign general questions, you'll come in here, make a post, or respond to posts that have been put in here for you to be responding to. Also inside of collaboration, whenever you go to project management, this is going to give you your task breakdown. So you could achieve this same view from your homepage on the task overview we went over and filter it down by the project. This is just filtered tasks for the project, breaking down for you how many are overdue, pending issues, completed tasks, active tasks. Of course, you're really going to want to pay attention to and prioritize overdue tasks and pending issues. Notice that you'll have the same project view for a client and all in one location, regardless of how many services you're running for the particular client. So for this demo client, Glenmore.com, if you were running a PPC campaign, social media campaign, SEO campaign, it's all going to be within a project view of that one particular client, which makes it a lot easier to manage. So on a task view for this particular client, your PPC and social tasks and SEO tasks will all be in one area, and you can sort those by on the right-hand side according to SEO or PPC or social or whatever service category they may be. If you wanted to click into a particular task to look into it, you would simply click on the task. And this is a demo view, so I can't show that to you on this view. And now if you wanted to sort by tags as well. So that's your task analysis off of collaboration. The next section in collaboration is subscribers. So if there are other people within your company that you would like to receive alerts on pending issues, conversations, all kinds of reports, you would add them into here as a subscriber in the particular project, and this is how they would receive alerts. So this is how you can utilize keeping other members of your company in the loop on a particular project. In regards to project management, there is one other thing I want to mention. You know, adding subscribers to collaboration is great, but also another way to interact with updates on a campaign, even at an admin level, is by utilizing the app, Brand 360. So what this app does is it will allow you from your mobile app to be able to see total projects you have running, total tasks that are outstanding, total pending issues as well, and you will receive mobile updates, completed, pending, overdue, and to be able to engage with those. So really impressive that there's a robust mobile app for you off of the agency platform. And you can view all about this by going to brand360app.com, checking it out, downloading it, and this will allow you to monitor your campaigns and immediately engage with things that need to be addressed by you for pending issues and tasks off the mobile app. Sometimes your inbox can get overloaded, and one of the easiest ways to keep up with projects is to not have to get saturated in your inbox, and to save you time from always logging into the dashboard, this mobile app will allow you to stay on top of your projects. Up next, talking about reporting. With the best reporting in the industry, you have to see what's involved in the campaign dashboard and the PDF campaign reports that can automatically be deployed to you and your client underneath a white label. So reporting is in conjunction with whatever service you're running. Reporting is service specific. So whenever you're looking at the services, if a particular service comes with call tracking and form tracking and keyword tracking, etc., that's the type of reporting you're going to get on top of the work report equivalent. So there's two generally basic different types of reporting that you can get into from the dashboard. One are scheduled reports that you'll find in a PDF format that are available either on a weekly or monthly basis for the respective project or campaign that's running. And to view those reports, you can go to two different locations, one into the exact project, or two, from collaboration, you can go into reports. Again, for a global view, this is where you will see all of your reports that are your official campaign or project reports that are generated on either a weekly or a monthly basis. The PDF style reports are sent out, again, either to you or directly to the client. If you wanted to view them from the project, you'd click on your project from My Projects, and then it's going to open up, again, the left-hand sidebar will expand where you'll be able to jump into everything for that particular project. If you click on Reports, it's going to take you to the section that will have the reports just for that project. Notice the sub-navigation up top, so if you wanted to see SEO reports broken down from weekly, monthly, and quarterly, you can, and if you have different services running, you can see those reports from there as well. This sample SEO report will open up, and I'll take a brief look at this. And this would be an example SEO report. Again, this can be client-facing as well. It's going to break down everything from site rankings to all of the work that has been done. So this is the equivalent of an analytics report and a work report. Now, inside of your dashboard, you have a very robust analytics and reporting dashboard interface to see all of this. But oftentimes, a dashboard is not utilized by the client. Would it be utilized by you? Most likely. And most likely you, as an agency, would utilize the dashboard for reporting more than a PDF report. However, for clients, the majority of the time, they're not going to log in. They're not going to look at their dashboard. What they will look at is a report that's sent to them. And this report is mainly generated for the client. So it's going to be a work report and an analytics report at the same time, generated depending on the service, up to a weekly interval. So it's going to have an on-page optimization audit and check. That's done. An overview of the search engine rankings. A visibility overview based on directories, review sites, and social media sites. Complete breakdown of the directory sites, which is going to continually monitor. And then it's going to also give them breakdown the reviews. Again, this reporting is in conjunction with what service they're running. So if the service they're running includes review reporting, there would be review reporting. Whenever you see in a service that it includes reports on mentions, it'll let you know how many mentions it's finding about their company online, and it has what's called a sentiment analysis, which automatically analyzes the content to figure out, is it a positive sentiment, a neutral sentiment, or a negative sentiment. Negative sentiment's really easy to figure out on an automated basis. You could imagine some of the words that represent negative. So the sentiment analysis is a fantastic portion of the report because it's also going to pick up on things that who's publishing. Probably the majority of content being published for that client is going to be being published from your marketing campaign. So having a sentiment analysis report really should, most likely will be reporting on what you're publishing, which is likely going to be published in good places and have a positive sentiment. So a fantastic portion of the report. Typically the reporting on what's published is presented in the format of what a backlinks report or just a work report, but having the sentiment analysis is just a great additional benefit to a report. Form analytics, if you are running form analytics, part of a campaign has nice reporting on that with a graph, and then a breakdown on work reporting for social bookmarking. Heat map imaging, if you had heat map tracking, it's populated in a report. That shows where the client's clicking or the people on the website are clicking most of the time. Map overlay reporting, scroll map image. Again, if it's included in your report. and then it's going to break down how many times you posted to social media and where it was posted to. Just blog content and syndication, how many times, where it was submitted to, Q&A submission, and etc. Most of this really comes down to a work report. But what's nice is that the work report is included with a full-blown analytics report, and you don't have to go to your clients and give them a separate, Google Analytics login or Google Search Console or a separate analytics. It's all compiled into one comprehensive report that includes the work report and a really nice presentation, as well as the analytics report, showing them all the value that's going on. Typically, this type of work reporting you may see in a simple checkboxes or Google Excel format, but Agency Platform presents work reports in a really nicely designed format that presents a better sense of value to the client. For example, the content that's been created is even populated on the report in a nicely displayable fashion, not in separate files. And what URL it is includes with the headers that have been created. Really, really impressive formatting. On social media stats are even populated within the report. And again, this is sent out to up to a weekly basis. And this is just an example of a local SEO report. Equivalent reports are available for pay-per-click, reputation, as well as social media. Shockingly, that's not the impressive part about Agency Platform reporting. The amazing part about Agency Platform reporting is what's in the dashboard. So if we go into the dashboard from the overview itself, you're going to see a robust overview that presents almost everything that's available in the left-hand navigation. So it starts out by letting you know how many keywords are ranking page 1 in Google and Bing, your SEO audit score, Google indexed pages, number of completed tasks, and outstanding pending issues. Fantastic. And then number of keywords on a graphed out image, exact top ranking keywords on the right. But you can expand the keyword ranking report on the right here for a full list. Of course, you would also be able to expand that out by going to SEO and keyword rankings. So the over report really just gives you a snippet of that area and a quick click link over to it. So if we wanted to look at the keyword rankings breakdown, it's then going to give you a very robust breakdown. So this is really in depth. If you looked at the PDF report that can be sent out to the client on full automation, fantastic. This interface will rival any other keyword reporting interface on the planet. Imagine having keywords tracked by a proprietary system from Google and Bing. Also, of course, Yahoo's not on here because Bing rankings and Yahoo rankings are one and the same, as Yahoo's using Bing rankings. So in Google, it's going to show you all of your keywords that you can sort from the desktop, mobile, or both. So if you just want to see mobile rankings, you can. And then, of course, switch over to Bing and see the same. Now, you can sort by all keywords or primary keywords, secondary keywords, and that's going to be mapped with your campaign, right? And a lot of you might just want to look at the primary keywords. Additionally, we have Sem Rush Information, and this is where you could go in and look at the cost per click on those keywords, the search volume, the SEM stated position on those keywords, percent traffic that you're estimated to be getting, and the keyword competition. Now, the Google Search Console keywords are also available from here. And what makes the Google Search Console keywords different from Sem Rush and the Google and Bing Agency Platform rankings reports? Because it's documenting how many clicks they're seeing that this sends to your website. And of course, it's going to let you know how many impressions you got, as well as the estimated average keyword position you're ranking within Google. You can PDF this report out, pull it out in Excel, pull it out in CSV. Again, this much information for a typical client is way too much information, which is why there's the PDF report that is available for the entire campaign that's reported on either on a weekly or monthly basis. But for you as an agency, if you're wanting to go in depth as possible into a keyword rankings dashboard, this is it. On the SEO portion, if you want to understand more about link acquisition, the links that are being built for the content that's being published, if you're just looking at work reports for week on week or month after month basis, this is really hard to identify, and it's also hard to figure out from a generic backlink reporting tool like Majestic SEO or Majestic. But if you wanted to dive into total link acquisitions and see them, they are reported on and segmented down by category. Click on each category, and it's going to take you to a page that's going to break down all of the content that's been published to generate links to the site. So this would be for informational content, guest posting. This would be for local submissions, total of 93 submissions. And again, you can click on these URLs and check that out, or click on details, and it's going to give you the exact details for that submission, which really is absolutely fantastic, and the equivalent of dashboard style work reporting that's categorizing the content and links that are being populated. If you want to show value to a client, there is not a greater reporting system that you're going to find available than this. Is it too much reporting for the client? Probably, but if you ever needed to go that extra mile to show the client value on work that has been done, this is it. Now, if you wanted to show KPI data on an SEO campaign, comparing data points from 1 month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, you'd come into an SEO KPI report, and none of this is on the weekly or monthly PDF generated report that's typically client-facing, right? But you can come in here and take a look at that, and that this is just a demo report, so it's not completely populated, but you can get a feel for, it's comparing impressions on a really nice graph over the last 30 days, as well as total clicks that are coming in. So if you want to be able to show the client a positive momentum going on, this is going to be a great report. This is the same report that's going to compare for you previous rankings to current rankings on whatever date period that you're going to choose, as well as social media data to compare from the past to the present. Another type of report located in the dashboard is the Seo Crawler Report. When the SEO campaign is running, audit reports continually run. They don't just run whenever the campaign starts, they continually run. And you can check in on the audit score of the website anytime that you want. You can get in here and look into on page. As you can see on this report, the next crawl date is scheduled for January 2018, and the last crawl date was December 30th, so it's crawling every 20 days accordingly to this right here. And it's going to report, again, the high priority problems, medium priority problems, and low priority problems, letting you know mobile friendliness, keyword rankings, off-page optimization, social competitor analysis is even running on an ongoing basis, visibility, and reviews. Speaking of reputation, there's a full dashboard section for digital reputation that will give you an overview of their visibility on all the different directories that are out there or listings, their review score, and mentions that are going on. You can dive into visibility and reviews and mentions. Really powerful dashboard, and really important for any local business to be monitoring their reputation, their reviews, even their online sentiment. But also, to build the reputation is the survey section. So to be able to collect a list of leads or clients or contacts of your client, to be able to solicit for reviews so that you can get your client more reviews in Google, Facebook, Yelp, is the survey section. Within the survey section, it's going to let you know how many reviews you're getting in, yeah, but for what platform? Google, Facebook, Yelp, and also stats on the emails or text messages that are being sent out. So this dashboard also has the ability to not only report on reputation, but to solicit your clients' contacts for reviews through email and through text messaging, and letting you know if it's working, and if it's working well, why, and if it's not, why. So maybe it's because they're not opening the text, doesn't have a good enough message. It's going to report on how many emails or text messages were sent, delivered, clicked, opened, so that you can get a good idea on how well it's going. How many people actually visited the review site versus how many people left the reviews. And then you also have the ability to enter in and choose email or text message, drag and drop or upload the file of contacts, edit the subject line or the email, because that could be making a difference if it's getting the reviews or not, and their exact review site that it's going to go to. So this is what's going to send them the messages asking them to leave the reviews. And then you have the feedback template. So what's it going to look like on whenever they click to leave a review? Would you recommend us? Yes or no? Screen 2. Please choose your favorite site to review us. Of course, that's only if they chose that, said that, if they would recommend you. And then screen 3 is where they would go to if they did not have a good experience. Now from settings, you can also go to enable a website widget to put on the client site that will display the positive reviews coming through, as well as ask people to leave a review. Moving on to the social section on the overview, it will have a dashboard overview for all different types of social media, from Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Pinterest. Again, this is assimilated into a weekly or monthly report for the client's view, but if you wanted to give the client access to view the dashboard, you could, and they could go through and see everything from the amount of tweets, followers, impressions for Twitter, Google+ data, LinkedIn data, Instagram data, and Pinterest data on an overview, and then there's a segment of the dashboard that dives into data on each. Moving on to analytics. Of course, you know about Google Analytics, but you don't want to be logging into separate analytics systems and checking things. And for everything that you need to know from Google Analytics, you can find from this dashboard. So for Google Analytics, upon clicking in here from Analytics, Google Analytics, you're going to be able to change your date range, see traffic by source, goals, conversions, page views, and it presents it in a more simplified version than what Google Analytics does. If you enter directly into Google Analytics, it's very easy to get lost in there. There's a reason why they write books and have extended education just on Google Analytics. But everything else that you'd be looking for from Google Analytics, you're going to find from inside this very robust portion of the dashboard. Now, what is new and in beta is the Google My Business section. And if I come into the Google My Business section, which is amazing for local companies, if you update information for the client inside of here, it will update it in the Google My Business listing online. So it's also a management interface. As you can see from here, you're going to see the information that's displayed in Google My Business and Google My Business Insights. Again, this is what your client can be seeing as well inside of their dashboard. So for local clients, this is fantastic. They can see how many total searches, total views, total actions that were taken, Google rating, and then they can dive into the listing, and they can edit their information from here. When they edit their information from here, it will reflect in the Google My Business listing. So you can even advertise this as a management dashboard for their Google local. So it's not just view only, it's actually interactive and able to manage the Google My Business listing. Moving on to Insights. So it's pulling the GMB stats. Again, searches, total views, total actions, direct search discovered through keywords, which is really nice. So who are the customers that find your listings by searching by your business name or address? Fantastic. And then how many found you through keyword searches? Views, listing search or listing maps. And customer actions broken down by who visited your website, how many requested directions, and how many did a click to call. Awesome breakdown. And then look into the reviews, specifically from Google. Now, what's really nice about this platform is that it allows them to respond to the reviews from here. So they can share it, but they can also respond to the review from inside the dashboard. So again, by granting the client access to this dashboard, which we'll cover soon, you can advertise not only as an analytics and reporting, but it's also a management interface for the ability to respond to reviews and update Google My Business listing information. What's more, photos. You want to change your cover photo, add your logo, change your profile picture. Can all be done from inside the platform. How about interior photos, exterior photos, photo at work, team photos, and additional photos, all manageable from inside the platform. And if you go to local posts, Not only can you see local posts that are being published, but you can also create posts to publish now and to schedule those posts to post for later. Moving on, if you wanted to see Google Search Console information, you would go to Analytics, Google Search Console, and you're going to be able to click on the website that's to the corresponding client and view their crawl issues, as well as their top queries. Now, of course, you could log into Google Search Console, but the most important pieces of information that you would want to grab will be available from here inside the dashboard. Now, if your service contains site uptime monitoring, which, you know, if you have this included, it's certainly something that should increase the value of the service to the client, because they're not going to get this kind of reporting otherwise. So site uptime is going to check how often is the site up, which is important. You need a website up if you're driving traffic to it and want to get leads. So this will check the site uptime and provide robust reporting on that. Aside from site uptime reporting, you will also be able to find heat map tracking. So again, if heat map tracking was included, reports will be generated on the interval specified on the service, and they'll be able to come in here and look at their heat maps. Okay, lead tracking. Very important. So lead tracking comes in the format of, well, 3 different types of lead tracking: a form tracking, call tracking, and even lead tracking through live chat. So these analytics will also be available through the dashboard, because it can be difficult to show value from SEO depending on the client, right? So rankings only matter so much to clients. Sometimes you'll get a client where they need proof that they are getting leads or they're getting traffic of some sort. And even though it could be presented in the form of a number in Google Analytics saying, hey, this is how much traffic you got, or this is the amount of increase in keyword rankings we got, but further substantial proof of momentum in a marketing campaign is always going to be in the form of any sort of lead tracking. So one form of lead tracking, of course, is going to be on forms that are filled out on the website or wherever you would want to put a form with form tracking offered by agency platform. And this is the form tracking dashboard, so that you know how many forms do you have out there, how many leads have been generated, how many page views did they get, what's the conversion rate, and what's the average time spent on that form, with as much as the ability to see what are the best time of days to get that form filled out, what are the best days for leads, where are they coming from, what country, what city, and top referring URLs as well. So for figuring out where the leads are coming from, you're going to get more data on this than Google Analytics would typically give you. And it's going to be able to track the referring URL that they came in on and associate that to their respective form. So to make this a little bit more clear for you, you might be thinking, well, form tracking is form tracking, but it's probably better to think of this in the format of landing page tracking, because you're going to put a different form on each landing page equivalent, right? Whether that landing page is on the website itself or wherever you want to put it. Agency Platform has a very robust form builder located underneath Apps, Form Builder, where you can choose the theme of the form and everything that goes into it. But the analytics behind tracking on who lands on the page for the form, which symbolizes page views, and the best time that they landed, the best day that they landed, where they're coming from, and what the conversion rate is, that's not just form tracking. That could be considered landing page tracking analytics. And if I'm to click on a particular form, let's try this one, and then I could go in and see, okay, well, here's all of the leads. And you can even have a lead comment that you leave on this as a miniature lead management system. So if we look at analytics on the particular form, you'll see that this is not just form analytics, this is page level analytics. And this allows you to advertise it as a landing page analytics tracker. So it'll tell you the page views, the number of leads, the conversion rate, average time spent on that page, nice graph layout, leads by region, by country, by city, leads by the different browser, operating system, and the referring domains for those leads, as well as the conversion rate. And a lot more data than you would probably ever need on a landing page. But it is powerful because if you just advertise form analytics, that's one thing, but landing page level analytics is entirely another thing, and it's worthwhile having. And then of course you can edit the form from here, as it's a complete and robust form builder. You can view the form, get notifications about whenever the form has been submitted, get your embed code, and go to settings and have full form settings. So form tracking is a big deal for lead tracking and analytics, and I hope you make that a big deal to your clients. It provides a tremendous amount of value. So let's talk about another form of lead tracking, call tracking. So some services include robust call tracking service, and it's an add-on that you can include. So whenever you are running call tracking, you'll be able to come in here to the dashboard and see a full overview on per the date range, how many phone calls came in, total phone calls, total unique phone calls, average ring time, average talk time, top call source, top call of the day, and top call of the hour. A nice graphical breakdown of those. And if we go into call by call source, if you wanted to measure marketing campaigns by phone calls, this is where you would come to do it. It's going to break down the source that those phone calls came from, whether YouTube, paid Google campaign, paid Bing campaign, or whatever else was set up. You could also set it up for organic. Call logs. This is a very valuable part of the interface. And again, this is a big reason why the client would want to access their dashboard, because they have call tracking, which is not just analyzing how many phone calls they got, which could symbolize leads, but also they could be doing auditing on the front desk representative or their customer support representative or their sales representative by coming in and seeing who answered what phone call and listening to the recording from the dashboard. So again, any feature that makes the dashboard useful and interactive to the client is going to make it that much more valuable. And the fact that they can come in and listen to previous phone calls that have been had is great. And not only can they listen to phone calls, they could come in here and make comments on phone calls as well. You have a breakdown on all your different call tracking numbers and the stats behind those and what they're associated to. So this is associated to a Google paid campaign, YouTube, Bing paid, breakdown per the date range on how many total phone calls that came through, average minutes. On top of that, there's also an SMS log. So it can also log the text messages that are being processed through those call tracking numbers. Okay, and last but not least for lead tracking is live chat. So whenever someone comes onto a website, you've got three primary means of communication. One, fill out a form and submit it. Two, click or call the phone number that's on the website. Three, talk to someone through live chat. So three different types of lead tracking offered: form tracking, call tracking, and live chat tracking. So as a service offered by Agency Platform, you can offer your clients live chat to be put on their website with full management platform through the back end of Agency Platform that allows you to track those leads. So when they log in, they can see the chat served, chats dropped, chat satisfaction rating, as well as chat times. And from here, I would be able to log into the chat to manage everything with the chat, be able to respond to chats as well as the client. So not only is the dashboard, again, useful to look at data and analytics, but also to interact with and use as a tool. If we go to PPC, the Ppc Reporting Dashboard is everything that you would dream of, that you would want if you're running a PPC campaign. This is going to let you know the performance that you have on the different devices, the top performing keywords that you have, what your budget spend is, and it's very transparent. And if you come into reporting, let's say, for example, we click on weekly reporting, everything is contained here on the dashboard. The clicks, the impressions, the conversions, the cost, full transparency on everything, and a graphical breakdown based on the day and the clicks, the conversions, the click-through rates, ad campaign, comparative campaigns that are out there as well. What I really like about this dashboard as well is the breakdown of the ad techs and how well they're performing. The dashboard will break down the top 5 ad techs as well as the top 5 keywords. If you didn't like the type of PPC report that's being generated, you can come in and create your own report template format. You come in, go to report, come to custom report, and then go to create template. From there, you would simply choose the different reporting pieces of data where you want them to be dragged and dropped onto the report, and you can build your own report. For Google-specific reporting, there is a report on ad text for impressions versus clicks, top performing ads, as well as a breakdown of how many ads have call to action words versus no call to action words. So additionally, if you go to the Google Keyword Report, it's going to let you know your top performing keywords, which is important to analyze because this is what you're spending money on. There's a very robust report documenting the top performing and non-performing keywords. You can also imagine the type of interface that the campaign managers have, because if this is viewable to you, it's certainly viewable to the campaign managers. And then we have a broken links report as well. It's important to know if you have broken links that you're pointing traffic towards. There's also an ad text and equivalent keyword report for Bing. So that is your reporting. Now, what should make your services to your client extremely valuable, more valuable than most any other provider you're going to find that's out there, is having the ability to tell your client that you have a dashboard that not only will contain full reporting on the tasks, the work that's being done, all of their analytics, but again, depending on the service that you choose, also gives them tools. And what tools would that be? Well, it would be the ability to listen to call recordings, set up and track form analytics, be able to interact with the reviews that are being left for them, update their Google business information, have it update in the actual on Google. So there's a lot of different things that you should be able to point out to a client on how valuable your marketing services are based on the dashboard that you can white label and give to them. So this is an example right now, what you're looking at, of a client-facing dashboard, which can be white labeled off of your website with a login for them, and they can log in and view everything that you would want them to view and nothing that you would not want them to view. So they can come into here and view all of their analytics and everything that we just went over, from the form tracking, call tracking, live chat, full-blown analytics, social, reporting, digital reputation. And keep in mind, even on the digital reputation, the client themselves can come in and send out emails and text messages to solicit those reviews. So it can also be a full-blown tool for them for reputation. And how much else, if a client went somewhere else, how much would they have to pay for call tracking, form tracking, landing page tracking, live chat management and tracking capabilities, full-blown analytics, heat map tracking, site uptime monitoring, social media dashboard, reputation dashboard, and a full-blown SEO dashboard. And yes, if you're wondering, even the Brand 360 mobile app is available for the client-facing, which would have the client-facing restrictions. So not only can you offer them the typical client dashboard that I just went over, but you can also let them know that you offer a mobile app that they can look into their dashboard and tasks and what's going on with. And finally, let's look at your setup options for setting up the dashboard, white labeling it, creating roles, adding users, and more. When you log into the dashboard, if you find the settings icon on the top right and click Manage Account, it's going to bring you to the area where you can manage your information, set your time zone. You can change your theme, whether you want black and gray, black and white, blue and gray. You can add your logo. You're definitely going to want to add your logo. It's whenever you give other employees of yours access into the dashboard, part of white labeling it, not only just putting it off your own domain name, but having your logo in there helps a lot. Also, when your client logs into their dashboard, you want them to see your logo. So you want to make sure that you upload your logo and pay attention to the logo size limits that are on there. And then you can white label the dashboard to where it's available off of your domain name. So you would add a subdomain. I'll let you read through the details. If you have questions, you can ask customer support. But pretty much you go into your hosting or DNS settings, add a CNAME or a name record, and get the dashboard to show up off your subdomain. So it's pretty simple once you figure it out. If you know how to do that, you could actually domain mask this dashboard in less than 1 minute's time. If you don't know how to do it, you might have to contact support. So then if you want to know how to add users, you just go to user management, and this is where you would add a user. So you can add a new user by clicking add new user, putting in their name, email address, setting their username and password, and then selecting the role. In order to know roles, we'll look at roles next, but for the most part, you're going to add a role whether or not in the broad category of whether they're an employee of yours or whether they're a client. In order to manage roles, you would come into settings and click down and go to role management. From here, you can read up about what each role is. Mainly, what are the roles and definitions for your employees versus those who are the clients. Now, if you wanted to add your own role, you want to create your own role, just create add role and then choose role type, and let's say you chose the client. You can customize what they can see, what they cannot see, what they have full access to versus read-only capabilities. And this is really robust. This applies to lead tracking, project settings, digital reputation, PPC, everything. So a completely robust and fully modifiable role management within the system. And this is included in the dashboard. So you can add your employees, add your clients, and have full control on what they can see, cannot see, what they have read-only access to or full access to. And that concludes our extended tour of the dashboard. Hopefully this answers the majority of questions that you have about the agency platform and shows you the tremendous value that the platform not only brings to you, but also to your clients. If you have any questions, contact customer support. We know the answers.